Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, first things first. You can tell I'm not wearing my traditional uniform, my traditional black shirt. Man, Fridays are an incredibly busy day for me every Friday. I've told you guys this before. Usually I set I'm my own boss really with this YouTube channel and my art business. And the way I set my weeks up, I really end up, I'm determined to get done what I set aside for myself. And I always get to Friday and I've set too many challenges for myself, and I try to get them all done on Friday. Another thing I want to share with you guys, and I wasn't going to talk about this. I'm supposed to have coffee with an uncle today. My father's brother. My father passed away when I was 9 from terminal brain cancer. He had 2 younger brothers. He was the oldest, and this is the youngest brother, my uncle. And I'll call him Uncle Richard. And I haven't heard from him. And I haven't, I shouldn't say it that way. He lives not far from me, about 10 miles, 20 miles. And I have not talked to him in at least 20 or 30 years, probably closer to at least 30 years, not since I've been clean and sober. And it's kind of interesting. I feel like I have something in common with him because he's a little closer to my age. He's a younger brother, but he is a recovering alcoholic. And I'm not quite sure because we never really discussed this in depth. The last time I talked to him, I was using. So I think I reached out to him back when I was using, like 20 years ago, through my mother, asking him if he had any tips for me. Back when when I finally realized that I was so deep in addiction, and I started to get scared that I knew I couldn't stop. I reached out to him, and he really didn't have any answers for me. Now I understand that. Looking back, I can understand. It's not something. It's not like you can give somebody a helpful hint on how to get clean and sober. It's something you need to do for yourself. It's something that has to come from your heart, and it's a lot of hard work and determination. There's no easy answers, and I realize this now. But here's another thing: he's gay. And okay, so I used to have when I was like 8, 6, 7 years old. I had a crush on his wife, my aunt. I thought she was, like an innocent young kid's crush. I thought she was like the most beautiful woman. It's like a little kid crush on my aunt. And they had two cousins, 2 boys who are my cousins, and later we found out, they got divorced, and he's gay, and he's got a partner, his partner that he's married to, and he's been with for at least 20 or 30 years. He's still with his partner, and he served in Vietnam. He's a good guy. I like him. I want to talk to him. Here's the interesting thing. I sent him a Facebook request, a friend request. It popped up in my head. It's like, we were all getting older. I wanted to reach out to him to see if, to touch base. And he didn't realize that I sent him a friend request, I think. He's an older guy, kind of like my mom, not very savvy with the internet. So then he thought he reached out to me. And I don't answer a lot of my messenger comments like on Facebook and stuff. And he reached out to my sister, who's his goddaughter. And he said this. He says, does Daryl not want to, he thought I was ashamed of him, or he thought I didn't want to talk to him because he's gay. And that hurt, that bothered me. So I texted him right away, and I was like, dude, I'm the one that sent you a friend request. Of course I want to talk to you. And I'm a straight guy, and I've talked to you guys before. I'm 57 years old. I just don't give a crap what anybody. I know who I am, and I've told you guys before that I've had I've never had a relationship, but I've had encounters with guys before. Back when I was using, back when I was younger. I'm a straight guy. And I think in a weird way we have that in common too. I have an understanding about his lifestyle. I think, even though I'm straight. So I'm very interested to talk to him. And I'm kind of nervous. I'm kind of nervous to talk to him today. This is another thing. There's 2 more things I wanted to talk about. I got a comment this morning. And when I first started this YouTube channel, I was very hesitant to show my weaknesses. Like I lied and I said I read all your comments all the time, and I don't. I don't. I can't, because one comment can hurt, and it'll stick with me the whole day. It'll just keep going through my head. And that, I shouldn't tell you guys that, but it's the truth. But on the flip side, one positive comment can make my day, can change my whole attitude, could make me feel so much better. And that's what I got this morning. I got a comment from Atlanta. Hi, Lori. And it was just a simple comment saying that I think it's a she. She's staying up to see my video. It's 4 a.m. She's staying up to see. It's not really 3 a.m. I usually say that, but and she just stayed up to see my video. And she says, "Hang in there." And that made my morning. It really did. It got me inspired to get out here and get in front of the camera. One comment can change or can make my morning or break my morning, really. And I really shouldn't tell you guys that, for the haters out there, for the people that don't like me, but it's the truth. One last thing I want to talk about. Donald Trump. Okay, I did the last video saying about this anxiety. I don't know if it's just me, but he seems different now. He does. Don't get me wrong. I will never vote for that man. I will never. I just have too much mistrust in him. I've seen him lie too many times. It's just not my kind of personality. He's not my kind of character. I don't like him. I don't like who he is as a man. But he seems different since the assassination attempt. He seems quieter. He seems more low key. Like I said, this isn't changing my mind or anything like that. But I started watching the video where he actually did talk at the Republican National Convention. And he actually said this. And this, I hate, it kind of brought my fears and anxiety down just a tad. Because like I said, I don't think I could trust him. But he said that he wants to be, that the next 4 years, he said 4 years, and not the rest of his life. Like I said in the last video, I'm really scared that he's going to stay in office for forever. And it sounded like, he could just be saying this, but he said that, over 4 years, we're going to make the country great, blah, 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 blah. The same promise he's been making for over a decade now. And he said, this is something else he said. He said that he wants to be president for the whole country and not just half the country. He says that being president for just half the country isn't really a win. And like I said, I never thought I'd be sitting in front of the video camera. I'm almost believing him on this. It's almost, I don't know if the words belaying my fears a bit. Like I said, I still feel like I can't trust him, and I will never vote for him. But he seems different, and I don't know if it's what they call PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. Really, because I started thinking about that, and you see these pictures of supposedly of these. These projectiles, these bullets going whizzing past your head and coming this close. There's been times I talked about, I almost got hit on my bike, and that stresses you out, man. So I can't imagine, I imagine, a bullet flying, skimming your ear. Probably does mess with your head a little bit. And I'm wondering if he might have PTSD, because he seems like a different man. He seems more, don't get me wrong, I'm not complimenting him. I'm not, not changing my mind or anything, but he seems like a different man. He seems more low key. He seems more open to the rest of the country, to people like me. Again, I'll say it one more time. I am not voting for him. I have not changed my mind, but he sounds different. He sounds very different than he did for the last 10, 12 years I've been listening to him. So, again, I am not changing my mind. I am never voting for him, but something about him, like I said, I feel like I have a pretty good sense of empathy, all the years of dealing with people, using and manipulating, and I feel like I get a good gut reaction when I meet somebody or when I see somebody, my gut instinct, and it feels like he has changed. Something deep in him has changed. Again, one last time, I am never voting for him, but he seems different. Let me know what you think. I got to get busy, man. I got a crazy busy day. All right, I'll let you know how the coffee goes with my uncle. Have a good Friday.